morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on what side of the pond you're on, and welcome to an extra special edition of Across the Pitch. My name is Phil Kennedy, and I'm here with my co-host, Tony Robinson, where today we're extremely excited. As we often talk about on the show, we feel that Accrington Stanley, from top to bottom, has by far the best management team in not only just League One, but all of English football. And that, of course, starts at the top with owner Andy Holt, and all the way down to Coach John Coleman and his staff. But today we're very excited to welcome back another very, very important member of the management team, and that is Managing Director David Burgess. And welcome back to the show, David, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Brilliant, Phil. Yeah, good evening here from the UK, and thanks for those kind words. It's always good to be able to talk to you guys, and hopefully I can give you some information on where we're up to at Accrington Stanley this evening.
Hiya, David. It's Tony. Nice to speak to you again. I've seen lots of pictures of you, but it's always nice to hear your voice, and it's I'm really excited to chat with you about what's been going on behind the scenes, off the pitch, so to speak. So I think we'll jump right in if that's okay with you. And first of all, congratulations on the event last night. How did it go, and how was it for you?
Well, like everybody's probably aware now, Tony, it was the first soft opening, as we're calling it, of the new facilities at Accrington Stanley. We were quite overwhelmed by the amount of people that came through the door on the first evening. We expected maybe around about 100 people, and we were prepared for that. But what we weren't prepared for were probably double that number. And what started out as a 2-hour show around ended at 11 o'clock last night.
That was a long evening for you, but you must be thrilled, and the reception you got from people. How was that, and what did you hear from the attendance?
Well, we were absolutely delighted with the numbers that came through the door for the first time. Many of them, obviously, season ticket holders who've been to the facility while we've been building it, while all the games have been going on, and seen it, rise out from the ground as steelworks and then brickwork and then all the interior, and with many, many fantastic compliments and comments from everybody who attended last night. And I think they had a few beers as well, which made it a really enjoyable evening.
Well, I did get a couple of messages already from people saying that you won't believe it, and I bet you're looking forward to coming over, and yeah, I am. I'm excited. I think after seeing people in there and people having drinks, really got my interest piqued again to coming over. And I did see Aki Ale on the bar, did I not?
You did. You did indeed. Yeah, we've got the Aki Ale on there. It's actually Bowl and Brewery Hen Harrier. Yeah, the Aki Ales on there. We've got different more beers than we've ever had before, and with more areas to serve them than we ever had before. And we're really, really looking forward now to be able to open, to the fans on Saturdays, get back to the good old days. It's been fantastic out in the marquee, but it ain't off cold this time of year. So it'd be great to get the people back inside, get everybody behind the lads again, and hopefully many of these happy hour games after we've won on a Saturday afternoon.
Well, this is all just brilliant stuff, and I'm just excited to hear that everything is coming together. So give us a little bit of a summary of the new facilities from the concept, start to finish. How has everything come together?
Well, Phil, as everybody knows, the old clubhouse has been there, for a long, long time and served a fantastic purpose through the years as Accrington came up through the leagues again. And, without the support and help of all the people that built that facility and looked after that facility over the years, we would have nothing as a base to start with. But it had run its course. There was a lot of work that needed to be done on it. So, we got planning permission for a new facility that runs the full length of the Jack Barrett stand touchline. So, the first thing was obviously to get the old building down, and then with a lot of drain work to be done, and then a lot of steel work to be done on that, followed by the brick work. A lot of design has gone on the interior. And over a 10-month period, we've now got a facility that has state-of-the-art air conditioning in it. Not as though we need it too much in England at the moment. So it's got...
well, in Arizona, that's the first thing they put in.
Yeah, well, it's probably the last thing they put in over here, but I think we're expecting a really good summer. So, yeah, it's got a state-of-the-art air conditioning in. It's got some lovely rooms. So for match days at Accrington Stanley, there'll be a supporters bar. There'll be hospitality, which in the old place got around about 60 or 70 people in, of which Tony's been one of those on many occasions. This one will be able to get around about 170 people in for match day hospitality. Plus, we've got another little room as well that'll take another 50 people. We've got the chairman's lounge, and then obviously we've got the supporters bar on match days, which will take around about 300 people. So from concept to finish, it's taken probably 2.5 years, from the first drawing or the first sketch to actually opening last night. And, and it's really pleasing that so many people have been able to watch it develop either through the media, through Twitter, or actually at games every Saturday. And there were one or two tears from one or two people last night who, have been on a long, long journey with Accrington Stanley, and this is like, the next start of a new chapter.
It's just brilliant stuff, and from what you're saying, with that kind of increasing capacity, it sounds like it's going to be a big opportunity for the team to increase revenue on match days.
Absolutely, Phil. When you break it down in this way that I'm going to tell you, there's around about 17 match day Saturdays during the season at home. So with 23 home games, taking out the cup games, with 23 home league games, of which 5 or 6 are normally on a midweek. So there's 17 Saturdays of which, we can get some revenues in and make it a really good match day experience for all the supporters. But then there's 35 other Saturdays in a year that it needs using as well. So we've built it with half an eye on non-match day activities. So weddings, christenings, birthday celebrations, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas parties, conferences. It goes on and on, that the opportunities that we will have for it. So it's got to bring the revenues in, and if we can get the revenues in, that will hopefully make the club sustainable. That's one of the main reasons that we've done what we've done. At whatever level the club's playing at, whether it's in League One or League Two or wherever it is, or even the Championship, you never know. We're hoping that the revenues will make the club sustainable, which will then help get players out on the field, which will help us hopefully get better fans, better numbers of fans into the ground, who then will use the facilities. So it's a circle really, that it's a circle of sustainability, and that's the end game for this venture.
As David, has it met or exceeded your expectations? Well, like when you see it, I mean, you've been there from start to finish, and the event last night, has it exceeded your expectations, or is it exactly what you expected?
I'd like to say it's what I expected, Tony, because I've been there from the concept, but it's exceeded anything that I thought it would be. I knew it would be a really good facility because, to be fair to Andy Holt, he never builds anything unless it's the best. You'll see that with the development of the stadium and the new stand, the new Eric Worley stand. Saying new, it's 3 years old now, but the Eric Worley stand on the far side of the ground, everything that Andy does, it builds it properly to a very high spec. So I knew what the building would be like. But to be honest, once we've had it all kitted out with the internal designs and everything, it's absolutely out of this world. And in answer to your question, yeah, it's exceeded all my expectations. But at the same time, I just see it as a fantastic opportunity to help move the club and the community use of it, to move the club forward.
Well, you and we've touched on this before, and you sort of mentioned as well, the match day experience, and now these facilities they are so important. It's not just going to a match anymore, and for 90 minutes and watching the match and then walking off to the pub. It's a full afternoon experience, and these the facilities you've got are so important towards that experience. Correct?
Absolutely, yeah, Tony. We've set it up that way that you can come, at around about 12 noon, 3 hours before kickoff. You can go into the supporters bar. We've got 9 or 10 biggest televisions in the whole wide world in there, with 6 or 7 different sports channels on. You can buy food in there, pie and peas and other types of snacks. You can get different beers. You can have soft drinks. It's a nice, warm, friendly sports bar atmosphere on that side of it. Or you can go into the other side of the hospitality and have a 3-course meal, sit with friends and family. There's a compere in there. There's all sorts going on. So it's not turning up at 2:30 and watching Accrington play. It's now getting there at lunchtime, having a really good experience. And then after the game, back into hospitality. We're putting live bands on after the game. So, it is more of a whole day experience, and part and parcel of that, of course, is from 3 o'clock till 4:45 when the match is on. But we want to make it a little bit more than that. We want to be able to offer home fans and away fans an opportunity of just seeing what Accrington Stanley is about. We're a little bit different than many other clubs. We just don't want to take money off you. Don't want to take your 20 quid off you, come in at 10 to 3 and leave as soon as you can after the game. We want people to stay and we want families to stay. We're noticing lots and lots more families around the stadium at the moment, a lot more younger members of the community who've started watching Accrington Stanley. And they're our next generation of supporters. So we've got to look after them, and if we can look after them and they keep coming along, we can give them a really good match day experience, rather than just the 90 minutes of football, that we're all there for, really. We're there for the football, but, we want to be able to say, come along early, come and have a nice meal with us, or come and have pie and peas and a few pints with us, come and have a bit of a laugh before the game, and then, get the seriousness out of the game out the way, and then afterwards, all relax and have a chat about what's gone on and enjoy into the evening.
Well, I remember this might be, I think 2 or 3 years ago. Might have been the last time we were there, and as you know, we go into hospitality and met a lot of good people. And my wife was getting a drink at the bar, and the staff there were so great. And she said, "Well, this is my last time here. We're going home." And the lady said, "Why? Where are you going?" She said, "Well, we're going back to Canada." And the lady said, "Well, I thought you lived here," because we've been there for so many matches. She thought we lived there. So, I mean, that goes to show you the type of people and the atmosphere that you're involved in and the family feel, because we just felt like we were part of the family.
Absolutely. Well, I think your Lancashire accent gives it away as well, Tony. So.
Well, a couple of ales helps. It doesn't hurt. I know this. I did see online, and you've been posting some great photographs and everything. But I see you've got some events lined up. Can you tell me what you got lined up in March?
Absolutely, yeah. So last night was obviously the opening event. On Saturday, when the team are away at Portsmouth, anybody who's not travelling down to Portsmouth can come into the sports bar. We're opening up from 12 o'clock right through the afternoon, even though we can't watch the match live at 3 p.m. because it's against international regulations. So we've got that on Saturday, and then next Tuesday we've got actually a Meet the Players event where we've got around about 120 people coming in, having a one-course meal. We've got the players coming and sitting at the tables with all the guests, and an opportunity, because you've got to remember the fans haven't seen the players for 2 years. Really, it's the first season back, and a lot of the new players really haven't had a chance to announce themselves to our fans. So we've got an event on Tuesday, and then on Saturday the 12th we've got Charlton Athletic in League One. So that's the first occasion when the whole of the new facility will be open. So the sports bar will be open, the hospitality will be open. We've around about 140 people attending in hospitality, which again, we've never been able to do that before. And then we've got another couple of games. And at month end, we've got the local lads and girls boxing club coming in. We're setting a boxing ring up. And on the 30th of March, we have a Sunday afternoon of junior and teenage boxing.
Tony, when you go over to England, maybe we should have an across the pitch celebrity boxing match. And you and Darren can go a couple rounds in the ring. I think that we need to line up Tony and Darren to get into the boxing ring over there.
I'm sorry, Phil, you cut out there. Back to Dave.
Well, I once just off track a bit. I once did a charity boxing match for a kids' charity and ended up in hospital with a broken arm.
Oh,
yes.
boy.
See, it's not all fun, and I agree with you. That's why I'm not getting involved. That was a terrible idea, Phil.
This would be really good, the one on the 30th, guys, because the kids are between 10 and 14 years old, and there's a few coming over from Ireland to box with our local kids, and it'll be a great afternoon. And what an opportunity for the young Accrington lads and lasses to be able to come to the new facility and have a boxing event. It's great. There's nowhere around here that can do that.
Well, that's fantastic that you're having so many different things that you can do with the new facility. But kind of coming back to match days, one thing I wanted to ask you about is first, how will bookings for the hospitality work for the rest of this season? And then next season, is there going to be like a season ticket package for hospitality? How's all that going to work for people?
You're ahead of the game there, Phil, because yes, there is a seasonal hospitality opportunity. So we're currently selling season tickets on an early bird price for next season, and part and parcel of that is you can buy seasonal hospitality. And in answer to your first question, we're fully booked up for the last remaining 5 games, so we have 140 plus people in hospitality for the last 5 games. And then also in one of the other rooms that we've got, a little room that we're calling the Snug, which can be a Prosecco room, a champagne room, a ladies' day room. We've got 25 ex-players coming into one of the games against Cheltenham on the 2nd of April, I think, who are just going in that room and being looked after in there. And then at the end of the season, we've got one of the local football clubs, Rosendale, who are about to win their league. They're having their presentation day in there, and they're coming and spending an afternoon. And rather than having a 3-course meal and paying a little bit more, they're having pie and peas and a few beers, and they've got their own bar in there, they've got their own staff in there, and they've got their own seats in the stadium. So, we're fully booked, and it's fantastic to be able to say that from Accrington Stanley. But we're fully booked till the end of this season. But looking towards next season, there'll be hospitality packages that you can take all season long. There'll be hospitality packages that you can do for a few games. Or you can, as Tony does when he comes across, you can come across for 2 or 3 games and have match day hospitality that way as well.
Are there going to be any hospitality opportunities for away fans or visiting fans also, or is it for home fans only?
Well, we'll always offer it to the home fans first, because it's their ground, it's their facility. But when the opportunity arises, and me and Andy Holt have spoken about this a few times, but if for an example, Sunderland came along and they wanted to hire the chairman's room, I'd have to kick Andy Holt out for a game, and he'd just have to go into the pub like everybody else. And But everything at Accrington Stanley has a saleable value to it, and the more revenues we can bring in, and if it means us going into the bar, going wherever we need to go, so that we can sell the space, so we can sell the room, we'll do that. Don't tell Andy though.
No. You mentioned about the packages, and obviously of interest because I've actually coming over for a little bit longer next time, David. I'm going to be there for 10 weeks. So I'm anticipating getting into hopefully 5, 6 or more matches. So I'm looking forward. I'm thrilled to bits to be able to say I'm coming over again. And I'm just so looking forward to getting in the new facilities and sharing a pint with you, So I'm looking forward to that.
It'd be great, to see you and Tony over here again. It's always great when you come. When I'm going to say when you come home, it's always great when you come home. And if you're here for 5 or 6 games, we'll look after you. We'll sort your deal out so you can come to all of the games. And we look after you, and I'll take you up on that pint as well.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a few people going to be lined up that I owe pints to, and Darren Woodhead's not going to let me forget it anyway.
Is there one from that quiz the other day?
Oh, I don't know. He keeps telling me I owe him several pints, but I'm not sure. I'm sure he'll remind me when we're over.
He's got a notebook.
You touched on, David, the facilities are for not only the club, but for the community and around. Is it unique for the area? For people who don't know Accrington and Ironburn, is it unique for facilities that you can offer that other places can't?
Absolutely, yeah. We've got the venue's big enough for. If you took the whole venue, you can get 500 people in there. If you took half the venue, you can get 300 people in one side and round about 200 in the other side. I've actually just applied for a wedding license, so you'll be able to get married at the WHAM Stadium. You'll be able to get you on the centre circle and that type of thing, or on the penalty spot, wherever you want, or on the Clayton end, wherever you want to get married. So we'll do that as well. We'll be holding christenings there. It's got plenty of car parking, and there isn't many other venues around. And when you're going back about expectations and everything, when you actually see it on the camera, it looks really smart. But when you're there in person, it really does take your breath away. And some of the comments coming back from last night from people who've seen it, when we're posting things on Twitter and on social media. And they came in last night. It was quite jaw-dropping. So we think we have got a facility for the community that there's nowhere else in Accrington and around the borough like it. So, and we'll go out on a limb to make sure that anybody who wants to hire and use the facility gets, the best experience that we can offer them.
I think this would be a good time. Is like you obviously will have a sort of an organizational structure of who looks after what, with Daniel leaving, you've got other people in. If somebody wants to, come from a distance or from overseas to a match and they want to get hospitality, how would they go about, and who should they contact, David?
Yeah, so as we've developed the facilities and developed the club as well, Tony, we brought people in, specialised people, highly rated, within the industry. So, we've got a lady called Karen Gettins who has got 20 years plus experience in the hospitality industry. She's coming in as our events manager. So she will oversee all the events in that facility, right from weddings through to conferences, through to Christmas parties and everything like that. And then we have a lady called Lynn Donahoe. Now, Lynn has taken over. You mentioned Daniel before. Lynn has taken over from Daniel as our commercial manager. So she deals with all the sponsorship side of things and all the ground boards that you see and all the stuff on the scoreboard and in the programs. There's the sponsors for the stands. Lynn oversees all of that. We've got Sophie Jones, who you know very well. Sophie's been there for quite a long time. Sophie works on the commercial side with Lynn, but also working on the event side with Karen as well. So, you know, I've got a nice little team of girls in there who, first and foremost, care about the job that they're doing, fully understand why they're doing it and for who they're doing it for, and understand, you know, why, you know, it's really, really important that we serve the community in the way that we do, and we're open and we give everybody an opportunity of coming and using the facilities, because, you know, in 50 years' time, when we are long gone, you know, those facilities will still be absolutely bang on. So we've got a great little team together. You know, on the back of that, there's myself and there's Andy. You know, Andy's heavily involved. And you can speak to anybody within the club, to be honest. If you want to speak with John Coleman about booking a room, don't you worry, we'll make sure the room's booked for you.
Yeah. Well, I just had to laugh. You mentioned Andy Alt. I did get a chuckle on his video when he was pulling that pint, and he said it's the most expensive pint around. And it probably wasn't the best pint ever poured, but I'm sure it tasted just as good.
Listen, when your chairman's pulling a pint, you've got to say that's the best pint I've ever seen, Chairman. And we might have had a little sip of it on camera, but I'll tell you, as soon as the cameras went off, we tipped it away and did a proper one.
But this, I know we've talked about it, but just the corporate side now is so important, isn't it, to the well-being of the club on the pitch, and this new facility will help support and hopefully improve everything on the pitch for John and his team, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, the revenues come through that side. You know, when we're selling season tickets, you've got to remember that they're coming at less than £10 per game. You know, we get some very good walk-up numbers of people who walk up on match days and pay the £20. But, you know, the opportunity and the margins, if you will, if we're talking financial terms, the margins come through the corporate hospitality side. And, you know, if we can get people in the club, well, I still call it the clubhouse now. It's way beyond that. But, you know, we get people in the new facilities, spending some of their hard-earned cash and having a really good time out of it. You know, this will be, I mentioned it before, you know, the sustainability of the club moving forward. And it's really important that it can stand on its own 2 feet. You know, Andy Holt has done a fantastic, magnificent job for the football club, as did all the people before Andy, by the way. You know, it's Andy and his team, including myself, are just the next chapter of Accrington Stanley. But, you know, Andy's done the work that he's done. It's really important that the club stands on its own 2 feet and it gets the revenues in, you know, so that we can give it to the manager. So John and Jimmy and John Doolan can, you know, make sure that we can keep getting these players off the production line and getting them into the first team. You've only to look the other afternoon, young Josh Woods, who's come out of our 23s, came on for the second half against Wickham and played an absolutely vital part in a 3-2 win. So, you know, if we can get the revenues in and give the managers an opportunity of getting the players in, you know, it all bodes well, you know, really good for the future of Accrington Stanley.
I always like to say that there's nothing better than a 3-2 win there. There's just something about that score. If you get a 3-2 win, it's always been an exciting football game.
I'll stop you there. I'll stop you there, Phil, and say a 4-0 win is better.
Yeah. Yeah, those come from behind wins are a bit hard on the old ticker at times.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, on Saturday it was seat of the pants stuff, to be fair, because, you know, it was a really poor first half and we went behind and then we got back in the game. You think, right, here we go again. And then before you know it, you're 2-1 down. But the second half, we were, you know, we battled well. We were magnificent. And like you say, Phil, a 3-2 win, at 2 apiece, you think, you know, can we hang on for a point or do we go on and try and win it? and you get the 3-2, and it is the best win in the world. You're right, but for the heart and the blood pressure, 4-0 suits me every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, and it just I don't know, it's just something about, like you said, that feeling you get when you get that third goal and get the extra 2 points. There's just that, to me, that's the reason that I love football.
Yeah. The only thing that will probably match that type of feeling, Phil, is when Tony buys me a pint when he comes over.
well played, David. Well played.
Well, speaking of Tony buying you a pint, I'm sure he'll do that at Coley's bar. And what are the hours of operation going to be? What hours can Tony buy that pint for you?
So like I say, last night was the first night. So early on, we're going to play it by ear a little bit. So on match days, it'll be 12 noon through to close. Now, close in Accrington can be anything from 8 o'clock in the evening to 8 o'clock in the morning. So, match days will be...
Why stop us at 2 a.m. here?
Yeah, well, I think we're meant to stop at 1 a.m. over here, but you try and kick 60 or 70 people out when you've just had a 3-2 win. So we'll open round bookings. To be honest, we're not going to open as a pub Monday to Friday and Monday to Sunday. We're going to open when we've got bookings. We'll obviously open every match day, and we'll just see how it develops. We know it's going to take us probably 12 or 18 months to get to where we want to be, operational wise. Last night was a great night. There was lots of little bits went wrong with the tills and with the payments and things like that, which is, for a brand new facility, it's bound to happen. But, moving forward, as we develop the facility, we'll open accordingly, so it's not a straightforward 7 days a week, noon till 10 o'clock at night. It'll be as and when. We'll be putting events on with great ideas. We every year we run a firework display and a fun fair. We want to put summer festivals on. With a whole host of ideas that we want to do, but at the same time we want to do it right. So we want to make sure we get it up and running, get it running smoothly, and then get into a nice rhythm, and we'll keep putting things on all the time. Summer festivals. We're already planning now for Christmas parties through December. So we're looking ahead. But we'll just take it as it comes, really, and it's like anything else. It's your next game. It's your next game that's the important one. So we're now preparing to open up on Saturday and get a few people through the doors and enjoy an afternoon in Coley's and get a few beers down and hopefully 3 points down at Portsmouth.
When I know when you're going through these first events and such like, is there anything planned for like an official ribbon cutting or anything of that nature, David? Or is there going to be an official opening?
There is, yeah. We've on the 30th of March, we have an official opening. With some VIP guests coming along. It's funny, really, because it's something that we've never really done before. Even when we had the new stand, we didn't have a big official opening. But yeah, we are going to have an official opening, and all the dignitaries there, and it'll be Accrington Stanley's type of opening. It'll be nice and easy, nice and gentle. Let's get the ribbon cut, let's get in, and let's get a few pints.
No, obviously I've been watching closely on the photo on social media with the photographs and everything, and it's been really a tremendous journey. And I know I watch on iFollow, and when you see the players coming out, they're coming out of those temporary rooms right now. So construction's underway in the new changing rooms. How's that going, and what is all going to be in that building, David? Because I don't think a lot of us overseas really have much background on that at this moment.
Yeah. So originally, when you talk about the facilities now, originally we were going to build the changing rooms into those new facilities, and in the end we decided not to, because we thought we'd make them as big as we could and we'd grow into them. And I do think that's the right decision that we made. So in the old changing rooms in the corner that have been there forever and a day, they got knocked down probably 5 or 6 weeks ago. All the groundwork's been done. So there'll be a changing room on the ground floor for home and away teams, for the match officials, a physio's room, and then on the first floor, there's going to be a couple of rooms that we can rent out for hospitality again, or we can use them for visiting VIPs or for scouts. And then during the week, it can be used for the players for food and stuff like that. So it's going to be again, like I say, when Andy builds something, he builds it right. So it's going to be a facility with a balcony on that you can come out and watch the game from the balcony. I suppose it's like a royal view, really. So again, it's going to be top drawer, really. And when the players get into these new changing rooms, it's going to have a tunnel that goes out onto the pitch, and it's going to be. It's massive for us, because these changing rooms that we've had for all these years, every season I've got to get dispensation from the Football League to be able to use them, because they just do not meet any of the regulations these days. So, it was a necessity to do it. And but like I say, when we do things, or when Andy does things, we do them right. So again, it'll be another fantastic facility for the club. But just a quick story, the ones they're using at the moment are temporary changing rooms, and you can't swing a cat in them. And now they get 20 players in, and the managers. So no wonder we play well in the second half every week, because they must go in and get a right rollicking at half time. Nobody can hide because they're that small. So and fair play to the teams that come along. They're used to, with Sheffield Wednesday and with all these big teams who are used to big changing rooms, and they're coming into a little porter cabin. But fair play to them. Nobody's really complained, and they know that once we get the new facilities done, they'll be as good as anything again in League One. So yeah, we're looking at. In fact, the steelwork's coming on Monday. I've been in meetings today, and the steelwork is coming on Monday. So it starts going up in the next couple of weeks, and before you know it, by the start of next season, we'll have them in the new changing rooms.
And will John Coleman have his own office, so when he can go in and sort of close the door and yell and scream before he goes to speak to the referees?
It doesn't matter anywhere on the ground. If John had an office and he was yelling and screaming, you'd hear him anyway. But yeah, there's room up there for the players to be able to relax, and for John and Jimmy and John Doolan to be able to do the video work and stuff like that. So we're just developing, slowly, steady away. It's 6 years now since Andy took over. Well, just over 6 years now, and every year, I keep saying to people, I've been there just over 6 years, and there hasn't been a day when I haven't seen a brick and cement being laid. So, it's just a gently away, keep developing, keep doing, the right things at the right time, hopefully at the right cost, and if there is ever an end at the end of it, it's going to be an absolutely cracking facility. We did the pitch earlier on in the season where we put the stitching in the pitch, so that's had a very tough winter, with the cold and wet, but that stood up to it, and it's as good as anything. It's as good as anything in the league now. So, we're very proud of what's going on, and all the supporters are. You can see it when they come along, and I keep harping back to last night, but the smile on the faces when they came through the doors and had a look round, it all bodes well for the future.
I know. I mean, I've only been able to come over regularly since I stopped working for, I think it's 10 years. This year will be my 10th year, except for COVID, and I've seen obviously developments in all aspects, and especially as I said, I'm really looking forward to getting into the hospitality because of what I saw in the past and what it's got to now. But you have to be commended, David, with the work you've been done, and I know you've been heavily involved in all of this, and we also thank Andy Halls, of course. But you're there doing your stuff, and I think you should be, as I said, commended. You've done a tremendous job, and from the feedback we're getting, it's state of the art, and we're thrilled for you, Andy, and the club.
Yeah, we listen. We're all in it together, guys. For the last week, probably 5 out of the last 7 days, we've been there until 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, stocking shelves with bottles of beer and soft drinks, and learning how to use the new software on the tills, and learning how the lighting in there is when you mentioned state of the art. There isn't a light switch in the place. Everything's done on a control panel, which is touch screen. It's got a massive projector and screen that comes down with to put all the live matches on. It's got disco lights. It's got absolutely anything and everything that you want on the touch of a button. So no expense has been spared. We've tried to think of everything that we can think of, and I just hope people get an absolutely buzz and fantastic use out of the facilities, because we certainly did last night. It was our first night, if you will, operational, and we sat down at the end of the night and went, wow, that went better than we ever thought it would go. There was more people than we ever thought would come in on a first occasion. And I keep saying it just really bodes well. And I hope everybody gets behind it and gets involved in it and takes ownership of it, because at the end of the day, it's not Andy Holt's, it's not mine, it's Accrington Stanley's, and it's for the people of Accrington. So, the more they get involved in it, the more use they'll get out of it.
David, just hearing the excitement in your voice about all of this, it just tells me what an incredible project this is, and how this to me, I can hear that this is something that is very personal to you, that you've seen through from start to finish, and just being able to finally see the fruits of all of your labor starting to pay off. And what about Andy? I mean, I know he has got to be absolutely thrilled about the new setup. What has Andy said on the new setup so far?
Andy's been there right from the beginning. He oversees everything that we do. Tongue in cheek, sometimes we think we get away with things that he doesn't know, but believe me, he knows everything that's going on. He's very supportive. He's very supportive, critical, if that's the right terminology, of anything that we're doing. If he thinks
constructive criticism, maybe.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's a word. It was too long a word for me, that one, Phil. So he is very, very supportive of what we do. He has a say in it for obvious reasons, but then he lets us get on with it. He's seen it develop, and he's gone from looking at it as a shell and saying, "Oh, I'm not sure whether we should have done this," to seeing everything. All the lighting and everything working last Saturday when we played against Wickham, and saying it's the best thing we've done. It's going to work. Is this? So we go through all the emotions with it. You sit there at the beginning thinking, "Wow, are we doing the right thing?" But you get to the end of it, and you think, "Right, we know we've done the right thing." We just want to make sure now that we get the people in and get a really good use out of it. But Andy knows exactly what's going on all the time, and he's very supportive. You can't say anything else. And like I say, it was the chairman's prerogative to have the first pint in there.
Yeah, well, I was to say, it's just tremendous what's gone on, and we wish you and Andy and the club all the best with the new facilities as you work through your learning, the baby steps, and get into fully operational mode. But you're well on track. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, David, and seeing you and enjoying a drink. And as I say, all congratulations for everything.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Really appreciate that. And I must admit, Tony, I'm looking forward to Saturday because I'm just going to go over on Saturday, let Karen and Lynn and everybody else in there get on with it, and I'm just going to sit and have a few pints.
Beautiful. That's brilliant. Exactly what you should do. Yes, enjoy.
And like Tony said, it's just tremendous, everything. And as someone who really started following the club closely in 2018, like you mentioned earlier, and in the 5 years that I've been following Accrington Stanley, I don't think that there's a day that's gone by that I haven't gone on Facebook and seen a brick being laid, concrete being poured, something being done to improve the club, improve the facilities. I mean, in 5 years, you've built all of this, and I think the construction workers are still working on the same stretch of road here and haven't gotten the pothole fixed. It is just absolutely amazing everything that you've accomplished, and definitely you and everybody involved give yourself a pat on the back, because it's just it's an exciting time to be supporting Accrington Stanley.
Yeah, well done, David.
Absolutely. The construction guys are fantastic. They get on with it. You got to remember, guys, it rains in Accrington quite a lot, and that's even in the height of summer. But the construction guys have got on with it. They've worked to it's 10 months. They've worked to a 10 months time schedule, and to the day they've finished it. We get the handover in the next few days. I've got meetings with them tomorrow just to go through any little snagging that we've got. But they've worked to a time frame. They've been absolutely fantastic, and they're now, they've moved next door now, and they're on with the changing room. So, like I said before, every day there's a bit of cement and brick going down, and the main thing at Accrington Stanley is don't stand still, or you'll get blocked in.
Well, if they're still laying some bricks on in August, my first job was working for my dad, who was a bricklayer. And I was an apprentice bricklayer for about 6 months. I still have the trowel, so maybe I should pack that in the suitcase, and just in case you need a helping hand in August.
No, it's changed a little bit now, Tony. We do them straight now.
Oh. Okay, on that note, thanks. Thank you.
David, thank you so much for joining us today, and just giving us so much new information, and we're very excited to get the show out, and look forward to hopefully having you again on the future.
Appreciate this,
Brilliant.
David.
Brilliant. Listen, Tony, Phil, you do an absolutely fantastic job on behalf of the club. But thanks very much for everything you do overseas for us, because it's great being Accrington Stanley in Accrington, but we're Accrington Stanley all over the world, and it's guys like you that really help us get out there. So keep up the good work, and thanks very much for your support.
We just need one person in Antarctic to listen, and then we've got all the continents covered.
well, I'll tell you what, we'll send at the moment.
A penguin and iPod,
Anyway, thanks, David. Much appreciated.
And we to finish up on 3. 1, 2, 3. On Stanley on.
Stanley on.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.